Hello, I'm Jared Taylor with American Renaissance. Americans have gone to the polls, and we now know who our rulers are. As always happens when a Democrat becomes president, whites didn't get the man they wanted. Mr. Romney got a near record percentage of the white vote, 59%, but that wasn't enough to offset the overwhelming non-white vote for Mr. Obama. The white percentage of the total electorate goes down every year. 59% of the white vote would have produced a Republican landslide in 1980, back when whites were 88% of the electorate. But it wasn't enough for Mr. Romney now that whites are just 72% of the electorate. In all of American history, no presidential candidate ever got as high a percentage of the white vote as Mr. Romney did and still failed to win the election. The reason, of course, is because non-white support for the non-white candidate was overwhelming. 93% of blacks voted for Mr. Obama, 71% of Hispanics, and 72% of Asians also voted for Mr. Obama. If whites had voted for the white candidate at anything like the percentages at which non-whites voted for the non-white candidate, the results would have been completely different. In fact, if Romney had won just 2 or 3% more of the white vote, say 61, 62%, he could have won. There are messages here for both whites and for the Republican Party. For whites, the lesson is that non-whites vote so overwhelmingly for a non-white Democratic candidate that unless whites are prepared to back their candidate in the same overwhelming way, as a group, their preferences just don't matter anymore. This will only get worse, as non-white immigration and high non-white birth rates mean that the white percentage of the electorate just keeps falling. And as non-whites and immigrants get more power at the national level, they'll do two things. First, they will grant amnesty to illegal immigrants and also let in more legal non-white immigrants. That will speed the decline of the percentage of whites. Second, they will make government even bigger. They will slap ever higher taxes on the upper and middle classes, which are still mainly white, and they will give ever larger handouts to the poor who are disproportionately non-white. Basically what they'll do is take money from whites and give it to non-whites. This means white taxpayers will feel even more pinched than they do today and will have even fewer children, while the non-white poor will have more children. And this cycle will continue. As non-whites get more power, they will push more policies that increase their numbers at the expense of whites, meaning yet more power for non-whites and yet more policies that promote their interests. And what about the Republican Party? Unless Mr. Obama sends the country into a vicious slump that he can't possibly blame on George Bush, there will be no more Republican presidents. It's finished for them. They would have another chance, or two, or maybe three, if they recognized they are the party of white people and if they worked plainly for the interests of whites. In this last election, which would it have been easier for the Republicans? To increase the white vote by, say, 3%, or increase their non-white vote by 8%, which is what they would have had to do to get the same effect? But Republicans would rather die than admit that they are the party of white people. And so that's what they'll do. They will die. They will think that they have to appeal to non-whites, and that means they will support amnesty for illegals. But that won't make Hispanics love them. It will only make the electorate even more heavily Democratic. Republicans will try to attract blacks, but the only way they could ever do that is by becoming the party of big government and more handouts. That is to say, by becoming more Democrat than the Democrats. It will get so bad that whites, who are the natural supporters of the Republicans, will become so disgusted with them, they will give up on them. And that means death will come even sooner for the GOP. For anyone with his eyes open, the election results are clear. The Republicans are finished as a national party, and whites are being relentlessly dispossessed. Well, what do we do about all this? That will be the subject of another video. Thank you.